everybody's intuition. Today we're going to do a reading about what is spirit guiding towards you. I don't know why, but I feel like this will be an interesting one to see what comes out. And y'all are so used to me saying this, but sorry for the long break. I literally had another episode of my chronic illness, and it's part of... I'm not gonna go too far into it because I don't think anybody really cares that much. It's not really related to this. So but yeah, I'm chronically ill, for those that don't know, but I feel like most of you know because I can't stop talking about it, right? Every time I go on this break, like long periods without posting, it's usually because it's something to do with my health going awry. But I am feeling better than ever, and that's the thing. It's like when I go through those episodes of like being really unwell mentally and physically, I always come out the other side feeling just like such a renewed love for life and love for being able to live my life. I don't know. Maybe people out there, if anybody else out there is chronically ill, maybe you understand that feeling. Even people with mental illness as well, because like my mental health was really affected by this bout that I had. But you know, obviously I'm not like cured because it's kind of the thing with chronic illness, but I am feeling so much better, and I just feel super excited, and I couldn't wait to get this reading to do it. Like, yeah, because I really love doing these readings for you. And there's some sort of interesting little critter over there. It almost looks like a butterfly, but not, because it has wings that... What the heck is that? It has like wings like a moth or a butterfly, but then it lands, and I think those wings get hidden because they don't seem visible when they're in the grass. I might try to look that up later, see what that is for one, but also maybe what it means spiritually. But anyways, this is going to be about what is spirit guiding towards you, because I feel like sometimes there's like that theme of like, oh, you know, it's stuff that you have to do and stuff, and you know, I'm all about like being productive in that spiritual sense and whatnot, but I don't know why, but I feel like there's something good coming towards you, and it's something that spirit's kind of pushing or guiding towards you, because it also could be a person or people, maybe a community, a support system even. Yeah, I just did it again. I flew and then it like landed, and I can't really see it, but interesting little critter. Anyways, yeah, so let's just dive right into it, shall we? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you guiding towards the collective? Please and thank you during this time. Ooh, I'll take that top one, but I'll put the rest back because there's way too many. What else do you have for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you guiding towards the collective? What are you guiding towards the collective? Oh, guiding towards the collective. Guiding towards the collective. Please and thank you, Spirit. What's your guiding towards the collective? What are you bringing towards the collective during this time? Please and thank you. And this time is just whenever you see it. No specific time period intended. Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. What are you guiding towards the collective? Is it really just this one card? Please and thank you, Spirit? Okay. Do you have one more? Do you have maybe one more card, Spirit? Do you have like maybe one more? Why do I feel like there's one more? Please and thank you, Spirit? Anything that you're guiding you're guiding towards the collective. What is it? What's going on? Okay, maybe it is just these two. One more time. Oh, something flipped over. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I think this one's gonna be a good reading for sure. So, the first one that popped out is the Hierophant. So I feel like you're actually gaining a lot of spiritual wisdom during this time, okay? And then we have the Ace of Wands. So new beginnings in maybe creativity or passion. Maybe it's hey, could even be a creative passion, you know what I'm saying? Could be a creative project even. I just had to rearrange my legs because they've fallen asleep. My circulation ain't so good. But anyways, the last card that came out is the Temperance card. And I thought this was really beautiful because sometimes the Temperance card, because, you know, it can be so many different things, but I don't know why, but I feel like there's something to do with healing taking place. And it almost even feels internal, but maybe something's happening on the outside to kind of help feed that internal healing. Maybe a good support system. I don't know why, but that was kind of what I was starting to feel. Did I mention that? I at least I thought it. I don't know if I said it out loud, but I was thinking that maybe like community support, something like that, might come out. But anyways, with the at the bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands. That's what I'm trying to show you. It's been so long since I've done one of these like this, so I'm like, whew, forgetting what the heck I'm doing here. I feel like you've been making plans and those are leading you towards a really positive place. So good. So let's just dive right in, starting with the Hierophant. Let's clarify that, shall we? Please and thank you, Spirit. Can you clarify this Hierophant for us? Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. The Hierophant clarification. I guess you could say I'm kind of a master linguist when it comes to French. I'm kidding. I do practice it on Duolingo, but I ain't no professional for sure. Okay. I can say je suis B. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that's true, right? I am B. I know some words. I could start out this reading by saying bonjour mon ami. It's so bad. Anyways, what else for that Hierophant card? Lisa, thank you. I don't know, maybe I'm more cracked than ever. It's like, yeah, I'm healing and I'm feeling good, and maybe that just makes me sound even crazier because now I have the energy to be chaotic. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, this is gonna be a juicy one, I think. So, the Hierophant was clarified by the 10 of Pentacles. Are you kidding me? I love the 10 of Pentacles. That's happy home, happy life. Also has to do with like generational wealth potentially, but more than anything, it's really about having a really solid foundation, a lot of stability, abundance within the home. I also get a sense of peace with the 10 of Pentacles. You know, it's just that feeling of like, yeah, we finally got here and now we can sort of enjoy, you know, the rewards of our efforts. And then the Chariot card. I feel like this means that something is happening quicker than you realize. So, like, because of the theme of this reading is about, like, what is the Spirit bringing towards you? I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of hitting me as, like, Spirit is bringing a lot of abundance to you, a lot of stability to you. You're also very connected to Spirit with the Chariot. And the Hierophant. This is all clarifying the Hierophant. So you must have a really good relationship with Spirit in some way. Spirit is your right-hand man, I'm getting. Okay. And then Page of Cups. There could be something to do with like a little, somebody that has a little crush on you. But also, I like to sometimes think of the Page of Cups as being like sort of a reminder that magic can happen. Because I feel like so often we're so like bogged down by reality and other people's mindsets of limitation. And we always have to be so 3D based. It has to have specific scientifically proven evidence that it's effective, and if it's like if it even exists, and it's like if there's no evidence of it, then it doesn't exist. And I really do believe that magic is true and real. And honestly, I don't think it may be, I think it's actually like way more simple from a scientific point of view. I think it's really just a manipulation of energy. And that's really what the Magician card is all about. So I wouldn't be surprised if that pops out in this reading as well. But the Page of Cups, I feel like is like those little moments sometimes, where we're just reminded like, something crazy happens in a really positive way. And you're like, this like had a 1 in a million chance of working out. And it's working out. Like, I feel like there's gonna be something that surprises you. And it's going to be like, does magic really exist? Am I magical? Because it could really be coming from within. Especially with this like connection you have with spirit, you're probably very much, you've probably been doing spiritual work. You've probably been trying to tap more into your intuition and your connection with spirit. And I feel like it's bringing about some wonderful things to take place here. And I think that there's something really good happening here. And I feel like, honestly, especially with all the retrogrades that are happening right now, I believe there's multiple taking place at the moment, but I could be wrong. But, the energies in the world have just been so chaotic for so long. And, I wonder what those little critters are. Because there's more of them now. And it doesn't seem like they fly very long distances. It almost looks like they flutter and then they land like a few feet away. Interesting. I'm gonna definitely look up what those little critters are later, because I feel like it's interesting. Also, that might be a message there about like the way that they flutter and then land like a few feet away. They're not going long distances. I almost feel like because you've been putting, even if it feels like it's only been a little bit of work or a little bit of consistency, or maybe you're like me, when I'm chronically, well, because I am chronically ill, I should say, sometimes I can't always, go long distances for things. And that can be literally physically, but it also could be like related to things that take energy out of me, such as these readings. Like, I can't always upload every single day, even though I would love to do that, because I love doing these readings and I love connecting with you guys, but I am very much a flawed human being. And so I feel like that could be a message, though. It's like, maybe you feel like you're not doing enough, but maybe just trying a little bit, maybe even a baby step. It could even be a message about baby steps. If you just put in even just a little bit of effort in the direction of what you're trying to manifest, I feel like you're gonna actually have that manifestation work out in a really major way. And so that could even be sort of like a way of sort of realizing like, oh, magic really does exist. Who would have thought that out of this tiny little bit of effort I put into this thing, suddenly it's paying off. But anyways, let's get back to this. The next card that came out to clarify the Hierophant is the Two of Swords. So although the Two of Swords is talking about like kind of like a crossroads, it also is about like tuning into your intuition. And sometimes it's those uncomfortable situations that we find ourselves in. Maybe it is something like we don't really know which path to take right now. And so maybe we try to like tap into our intuition, listen to ourselves and our inner wisdom. And maybe even pray to spirit, like, Spirit, please help to guide me towards the direction or path that is meant for me. Because I'm not really seeing it as a bad thing. And I guess the Two of Swords isn't necessarily a bad card, but sometimes it can be like an energy of confusion, I'll say that. It can sometimes just, and maybe even just doubt. Who knows? Maybe it's not even confusion, but you're just doubting yourself or doubting your intuition. Definitely could be a thing here. But yeah, sometimes it's those like more trickier situations, I guess, that kind of help us to lean more into our intuition, lean more into our spirituality for guidance. And I feel like that could definitely be the winning recipe here. If you are coming towards something in your life where maybe it is like two different paths and you're not quite sure which one to go down, or maybe you have a choice in something and you're like, okay, what do I choose? Or, you know, it could even be just like the Two of Swords. I don't want to try and like, you know, I'm not trying to like make it out to be like this is a huge thing happening in your life, because overall very positive, and I feel like that Two of Swords is probably just some sort of inconvenience that is kind of like you're not sure how to operate or navigate that situation. But it's also interesting because there are two more cards that came out to clarify the Hierophant card, and it's the Tower card and the Seven of Swords, but they came out like this. And when cards come out like this, specifically, the different directions of the sideways cards mean something different to me. When cards come out in this direction, I typically see that as something that's propelling you forward in a positive way. And when they come out like this, I typically see it as something that could be holding you back potentially. And so, you have probably went through a Tower moment. This could be recent or maybe not so recent. Because, you know, the Tower moments too, like there's such big things that happen in your life that they, even if they happened years ago, they still leave an impact, and you still look back on them as being Tower moments because it was like a big part of your life. Tower moments don't always have to be negative, but because it did come out with the Seven of Swords, I'm kind of seeing it as maybe this was a sort of negative situation, especially because it's also like something that could be potentially holding you back in some regard. But also this direction may even be indicating that this is in your past, and maybe you're actively trying to overcome those, you know, pains of the past or those experiences of the past. And with the Seven of Swords doesn't always have to be a bad card or negative card, because like I think it usually gets a pretty bad reputation for, you know, always it has to do with sneaky, deceitful people. And of course it can mean that, but it also can be about thinking outside the box, being creative and stuff. But with this context and the way that it came out, I do think that this could be a Tower moment you experienced with somebody that was not being honest with you. Could have deceived you in some way. The Swords could even indicate maybe this wasn't even a physical person outside of yourself. Maybe it could even be that it was your own like thoughts and mindsets that may have been negative or tricky, trying to trick you, because yeah, like I literally just went through my period of chronic illness acting up, and as I said, my mental health was very much affected by that. And sometimes our mental health, when it's struggling, we can tell ourselves a lot of negative things, you know? Like when I'm depressed, I typically self-isolate, and you know, that's usually not what is best for me all the time. And sometimes what I need is a friend to come over, or a friend to, you know, be around me or support me. And the thing is, like, if we don't tell our friends we're struggling, they'll never know that, you know, we're struggling, and they never will be given the opportunity to help us or be a good support for us, you know. And like, you know, a true friend wants to have that that moment, you know, because like you know, especially with the energies that come through in these readings, I'm pretty sure that the collective I tap into probably is somebody that's very giving. And so it's like, yeah, maybe you show up for everyone else, but you also it's a good idea to let your friends, your support system, give them the opportunity to repay that. Because like, yeah, like people that are genuinely there for you, they want to have those moments of being able to step up to the plate, make their friend feel better, those types of things. But yeah, so this could even have been like a mental blockage, or ways of mental confusion, not seeing things super clearly. And then maybe it led to a Tower moment, or a Tower moment led to those mindsets taking hold. I might want to clarify that Tower card, or maybe I might clarify the combination of the Tower card and the Seven of Swords, because I almost feel like, because the way that this kind of looks to me is like all this good stuff here, and so maybe with the Two of Swords, this is one path of just wonderful things coming towards you, you attracting a lot of beautiful stuff. But then the other path could be this Tower card and the Seven of Swords. So with the Two of Swords being like not being able to choose between these paths or something, or being caught at that crossroads of needing to choose a path. It could even be like, yeah, like maybe this path is your, going down the path towards your past self, or past mindsets. Maybe mindsets that you felt you have overcome, or figured out and tried to heal from. It could be that whatever is happening could be potentially also triggering you to feel like I'm thinking maybe even like imposter syndrome, because this is a lot of beautiful stuff, and so maybe it's that feeling of like, am I deserving of this though? Like, is this really truly meant for me though? But yeah, so I almost feel like that could be the crossroads, is like you're having these great things happen to you, but then it's also at the same time potentially triggering something from the past here, whether that be it's reminding you of a past person, because the Page of Cups could also be somebody that has a crush on you and maybe expressing that towards you. But, not always. But then with that Tower card and the Seven of Swords, if it is somebody coming into your life, a new person, it could maybe trigger those fears of the past, because you have been tricked, deceived, and it led to Tower moments. And so it's like that chaos of the past. It's like, I feel like I'm not really articulating the concept that I'm trying to effectively enough. Because it's like, I don't even know if this really makes sense, but it's like, we think about it and we're like, oh, if something good happens to me, obviously that's the path I choose, right? But, sometimes, especially if we're like used to bad things happening to us, we can be so stuck in that sort of mind space, that way of viewing things, viewing yourself, viewing your life. And so it can sometimes trigger us to maybe lean more on unhealthy coping skills that we've gained throughout our lives, unhealthy habits. I think I am going to clarify that Tower card and the Seven of Swords, because I just want to get a little bit more information on that. But let me show you what's at the bottom of the deck. It's the Five of Pentacles. So honestly, I feel like the Five of Pentacles is probably the energy that you felt when these things were happening in the past. I feel like sometimes the Five of Pentacles can really be a card of like insecurity, or just a feeling of lack in some regard in your life. Oh. Interesting. Okay, now I'm getting a different message about these cards, because I'm getting like on the Seven of Swords, this person is stealing. And so I feel like maybe you're afraid of something good happening, but then it being taken away from you. Whether that be by somebody literally, or just by the universe, by the way that life works. Yeah, I'm still gonna clarify that, but I'm just curious what's underneath that Five of Pentacles. The Fool card. So yeah, I do feel like you're starting a new beginning here. I think that there is a new positive chapter that's opening up for you right now. But I do feel like these pains of the past are going to resurface in some way. When this good thing happens, because it's like, yeah, sometimes when good things happen to us, we don't always believe it at first, or we don't think it's stable enough to last, or whatever the case is. Yeah, can I get clarification on this Tower and Seven of Swords? Thank you. Ten of Swords, painful ending. Yeah. But this is a painful ending that led to a new beginning. And maybe because a lot of the time with Tower moments, sometimes they can be truly disruptive, and sometimes we can really see them as being like bad luck, something, really big and bad that's happening in our lives. And I feel like it's usually in hindsight where we find the value in those Tower moments. Because like when you're experiencing them, it really does feel like the whole world is crashing down around you. But I also feel like when we progress on our journeys, we can sometimes look back on that and be like, wow, if that didn't work out the exact way that it did in the past, I would not be here right now. I would not be on this path that I am on. I feel like if this was a person from your past, somebody that was sneaky, maybe duplicitous, two-faced, it led to a very, very painful ending. But then you acted as a phoenix that was rising from the ashes. And you began again, even from a place of feeling like you were at your rock bottom. Because sometimes I can feel like the Ten of Swords is sort of feeling like you're at your rock bottom. Like, how the hell am I ever going to get out of this mess? Yeah. And I do feel like it is significant that all of these swords are in this person's back, especially with the combination of that and the Seven of Swords. I feel like somebody stabbed you in the back in a major, major way. It shook up your whole life. I feel like it probably even changed your brain chemistry, or could have caused a significant amount of trauma for you. But I still feel like there's this positive message, almost like that past experience was really, really hard and maybe traumatizing, awful. But maybe it set you down, or it set you up for doing something greater with your life. Yeah. And now what's at the bottom of the deck is the High Priestess. So yeah, I do think that this is sort of a common theme I'm seeing here so far, is you have a very strong intuition, you have a good connection with spirit. You could maybe even be more, the Hierophant is what we're clarifying here. And that does deal with a little bit more traditional sort of types of religion. But the High Priestess is more New Age spirituality. And so I feel maybe you're a mixture of both. Maybe you're kind of one of those people that kind of likes to mix up spiritual beliefs. Maybe if you were raised a certain way, such as Christian, maybe there are certain aspects of that religion that spoke to you, and other parts that didn't. And so maybe you took out those specific parts that were they spoke to you in some regard. But also you incorporate that new spirituality, New Age spirituality, where it's still being able to have a different perspective, finding more um, say for instance, if you were raised Christian and so you have a certain idea of what spirituality looks like, there could have been even constraints within that, and maybe you're like, okay, I want to create a belief system that is not so strict and particular. I want it to be sort of fitting me, sort of customized to me, and maybe customizable in general, to best serve your needs, your wants, the things that you're trying to achieve in your life. Yeah, I'm honestly feeling like this Two of Swords, it's probably more mental, because again, the swords can definitely deal with like mental stuff, thoughts and stuff. I'm almost getting that maybe this is something that's taking place that is more mental rather than physical. So it's like maybe something good is coming into your life and you're sort of feeling a little bit stuck, or you could even feel blindsided by good things happening, because this person is wearing a blindfold. Yeah. Where you're just like, oh, I didn't see this coming. And that could maybe, the suddenness could even just be very triggering. I don't know why, but I want to mention the High Priestess doesn't speak. That could be a message for somebody. Like maybe this is a situation where it's not really so important to, I don't know. Honestly, that's more so hitting me as like maybe meditation. Maybe just being really present, meditating on this thing that is happening, and if there is a fear of some of it being taken away from you in some way, or some people believe that when people give us the evil eye, it can sometimes affect our manifestations or ability to receive manifestations. So maybe it's even something along the lines of like you're trying to keep something on the down low. You're not really talking about something because it could be leading you towards that 10 of Pentacles, towards your success. And so maybe you don't want anybody to know about your plans right now, or what is taking place in the background, until it actually comes into fruition. That could be something. Or maybe you're just being selective about who you talk to about this thing. And that may be a good thing too. Like even if it is like your mental health kind of, causing some, issues. Because like not everybody that we talk to has our best, what is the word I'm looking for? Our best, I'm just completely drawing a blank. Anyways, they don't always have what's best for us in mind when they are interacting with us. And so maybe somebody in your life that is just like maybe untrustworthy if you're struggling, I want to see what's underneath this. Oh, the King of Pentacles. That's a big juicy spider. Let's just make sure it doesn't fall on me. Okay, I don't mind the little ones, but the bigger ones, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty natural instinct, intuition, or instinct is like when you see a big bug, you're like, for like evolutionary, what is wrong with my, I can't seem to think clearly or say things clearly. Like it's almost like I know what I want to say, but I am struggling to find the words. Maybe that's something too, like that it happens to you, or maybe that's how you're feeling right now. Oh, if we're in Mercury retrograde, I think that's actually a common theme with Mercury retrograde, if I'm not mistaken, is like being a mess when it comes to communication. But anyways, with the King of Pentacles underneath. If this is you, this would make a lot of sense why you're attracting all this abundance, because you're showing up in that abundant energy. Also, the King of Pentacles is the only king that has a suit of armor on underneath his little cloth robe here that he's wearing. As if to say, yeah, I may be a king sitting on his throne, but I'm also ready to fight for something if need be. Also, if you think about what armor does, it protects you. So maybe you're like very protected during this time, or you know how to protect yourself. Yeah, so maybe it's even like, okay, now that I mentioned the evil eye, I feel like there could be somebody in the background that you feel like is giving you the evil eye, trying to maybe distract you from your path, your goals, your manifestations, something along those lines. Or maybe that's just what your intuition is telling you, but maybe your intuition is telling you that for a reason. Also, I'm saying King of Swords and he, him because of the King of Swords, but not King of Swords, King of Pentacles. Anyways, I forgot what that message was because I got distracted by the fact that I said King of Swords instead of King of Pentacles. Oh, I'm just saying like he, him because of the king, but this could be any gender. And maybe this is why can't I talk? This is maybe even somebody outside of yourself too. Somebody that sees how abundant you are and maybe they feel like a kinship. I don't know. I feel like I want to check underneath that King of Pentacles just because I'm curious. Knight of Swords. Oh, interesting, because I was just saying King of Swords over and over again. But Knight of Swords. So either, if you don't feel abundant right now, this could be abundance coming in quickly for you to make you come into this time as the King of Pentacles. Somebody that has it going on, stability-wise, security-wise. Yeah, I do feel like with the Knight of Swords, and we had that Chariot card earlier, I feel like something is coming in towards you and it's happening fast. And if this is somebody outside of yourself, maybe it's this person coming in towards you to communicate something. That's typically what the Knight of Swords is about. Could be some sort of communication coming in suddenly that you didn't see coming, or leads to your abundance, or it has to do with somebody that's very abundant coming in towards you to express something, to share a message with you potentially. Okay. Let's go on to the Ace of Wands now and clarify that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What do you have for the Ace of Wands? Please and thank you, Spirit. Ooh. What do you got for that Ace of Wands? Oh yeah, baby. What are you guiding towards the collective with the Ace of Wands? Something there. What are you guiding towards the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. Oh, my nose. Itchy. Itchy. Allergies probably. I'm outside. You know, pollen and all that. Okay, anything else? Please and thank you for the Ace of Wands. Did I say Ace of Swords? I swear, if I said Ace of Swords. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else for the Ace of Wands? Please and thank you. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so clarifying that Ace of Wands, we have the Magician. Interesting that the Magician came out, because I think I said at one point in the beginning of this reading that I wouldn't be surprised if the Magician card came out. And here it is. And then we have the Seven of Cups. A lot of options here for you. And then Six of Wands. That's success and being celebrated for your success as well. Being acknowledged. And then we have, oh, why did I see that? Okay, anyways. The Three of Swords came out. That's usually a card about heartbreak. also can be just like a card of really going through it emotionally, and mentally probably. And then the Eight of Pentacles. I almost feel like if you did go through a period of like heartbreak or something difficult happening, you've been able to sort of bounce back and focus more so on like your projects, your work, something here. And that could be like a really good outlet for you to help you cope with whatever took place in the past here. It's like you're sort of like transmuting that energy. Yeah, the Temperance card is the next card we're going to be clarifying. So that's probably very much your energy right now, is transmuting that negative energy, negative experience into something that's more positive, has more growth. Also, the Eight of Pentacles is all about how when you're working at something for a long time, you become a master at it. So I feel like you're mastering something here. You're being seen as somebody that's really good at what they do. And then the Queen of Cups came out in the reverse, and I thought that was the only card that came out in the reverse. But then underneath it is the Ace of Cups. Both of these were in the reverse. Oh, I think I see now. I keep hearing like little, sounds like a little critter walking on the twigs and stuff, but I don't see anything. Anyways. Okay, so also, bottom of the deck, we have the King of Wands. You actually could be very attractive during this time. Whether this is you or somebody else. I feel like you got it going on. I feel like you have a very charismatic energy, and I don't know if you realize this. You know, and the thing about charisma is I think we generally have a specific view of what charisma is. But the thing is, we can all be charismatic in our own ways. Like, you could be maybe the geekiest geek that ever geeked. And that's such a weird way to say that. You know, you could be like an absolute nerd, and, you know, people may think, oh, nerds can't be charismatic. But, like, you know, maybe it's something you talk about that you're really passionate about. Like, you know, maybe, like, you're really good at, like, I don't know, like coding and maybe something computer related and stuff, and then it's like somebody gets you talking on that subject and you're just so filled with passion and excitement for that thing, and it, you know, is so important to you that somebody around you, like, even if they have no interest in that whatsoever, that can be seen as charismatic. That can be like your own style of charisma, where it's like, okay, I'm kind of attracted to this person. They're so passionate about what they do. Okay. You know, because I've definitely been there, you know, people that don't fit a societal, you know, expectations of what charismatic is, or, you know, what attractive is, you know, and then they're just like, you know, they talk about what they're passionate about, and it's just like, ooh, okay. Because I think that's one of the most attractive things that a person can have, is like being passionate about what they do, regardless of what that is. But before I dive into the other cards, I just want to say that what I'm getting intuitively is the Queen of Cups in the reverse and the Ace of Cups in the reverse. And because we did see that Three of Swords, I think because you've been hurt probably multiple times in your past when it comes to love, you're so afraid, I feel, of like showing up in this this loving, open energy, and you're a little afraid to give your heart, give your cup of love to someone else, even if you're given the opportunity to do just that. I feel like you're kind of scared, kind of skeptical. Like, the last time I was open, you know, the last time I was emotionally vulnerable with someone, they broke my heart into a million pieces. So how do I know if this situation or this person is good for me and deserves this part of you? Because I think you probably do have an absolutely gorgeous heart. I feel like you're probably very kind, very sweet, very gentle. And so it's like, you may feel like you kind of have to have your guard up, because it's like, not everybody deserves that part of you. And you probably have realized that through your past experiences. I honestly feel like with these first three cards that popped out, the Magician, Seven of Cups, and the Six of Wands, I feel like you're manifesting your own success here. Also, sometimes I see the Ace of Wands. On the traditional Ace of Wands, it's a hand holding a sword. Or a hand holding a wand, not a sword. I keep saying sword, so maybe somebody's like an air sign. That's Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. So maybe it's something along those lines. Somebody out there may be an air sign, or maybe you're dealing with an air sign or something. Or maybe something takes place in an air sign's season. Or it did. Anyways. Okay, I'm getting a little distracted from the message, but I feel like you're manifesting your own success here. And the Ace of Wands, the traditional Ace of Wands, is like a hand holding a wand. And sometimes I see that as like a literal, you know, say magician holding a wand and like bringing what you want into reality. I feel like you are bringing something that you really wanted into reality. I feel like you had to go through a lot of feelings of confusion to get to this point. Like things were not quite clear for a really long time. Maybe it felt like your efforts that you were putting into a specific area or whatever, you could have felt like, I don't know if this is ever going to pay off. And then it does. And it's like, because you trusted the process, because you had faith in yourself, your abilities, the universe, the spirit, you may have gone through this period of things being foggy, cloudy, not being able to see the path ahead very clearly. But it's like you still stuck with it. You still kept going regardless. And I feel like that's what's bringing about your success here. I also want to mention that this Six of Wands is also about other people recognizing your success. So it could even be something along the lines of like, if, you know, especially if you have some sort of untraditional type of like job or passion or whatever it is, and people are kind of like telling you you're crazy, like, oh, you think you're gonna go anywhere with that thing, like, such as, you know, being like, take for instance this tarot channel. You know, it's like maybe somebody could look at me reading tarot cards and be like, oh yeah, like you're gonna have subscribers on YouTube by reading tarot cards. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. That's not gonna lead anywhere for you, you know? I feel like if you had haters, and especially during this time of confusion, I feel like they didn't see your true potential, but you kept going, you kept believing that better was ahead, and I think better is coming for you. I'm being really drawn to this wreath, and the way that it's like, you know, a circle, kind of reminds me of like cycles closing. Like this is the end of a cycle here, so maybe a cycle of confusion, a cycle of not being clear about where you're going or how you're going to get there or whatever. I feel like clarity is definitely coming along with this success, because it's like it makes it clear for you, like, oh, I actually am heading somewhere with this, and this is not in vain. My efforts are not in vain here. And you know, I do feel with that Queen of Cups and Ace of Cups in the reverse, combined with that Three of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles, it's like you kind of moved yourself out of maybe thinking about romance, feelings romantically, and just being so focused on your work, being so focused on like the 3D, your 3D comforts and the things that you want to have in your life to bring you comfort, such as stability, abundance, all that stuff, fulfillment. I feel like you're just in a completely different mindset to love, I feel. But I feel like it's almost like when we, and this is one of the most annoying things I feel like when it comes to manifestation, it's like the moment we're not interested in love is when we get an opportunity to explore love. You may be a little bit frustrated with that. Or you may just feel like this is not the time, Spirit. Like, Spirit, I do not need somebody romantically in my life right now, okay? Maybe it's even like you're afraid of any sort of distractions, anything distracting you from your goals, your purpose here. But as I like to say, if this person is truly meant for you, they are not going to be a distraction. They're going to be a help and not a hindrance to your goals, your manifestations. And maybe that's a sign for you to kind of gauge whether or not these people are for you. It's like, do they help me along my path in some way? Do they make my life easier rather than more difficult, you know? It's good to kind of reflect on all those things. And I feel like you have such a sweet, beautiful heart, and you have such beautiful love to give to another person. I feel like that's going to draw people in, but it could definitely be triggering for you, where you're just like, I don't know. I've been hurt so many times. I don't know. That's kind of what I feel. And also you being in the spotlight with that Six of Wands, people seeing your success, maybe that also brings people towards you. And you're just like, I'm not comfortable with this yet. Because I just feel like, yeah, you're kind of just like, I'm afraid. Yeah, and it's not even like, ooh, I'm like shivering in my boots, I'm so afraid. But like, you know, I don't want to go down and repeat the same patterns of my past again. And I don't think that you will, but you know, it's almost like you don't know that you're not going to get hurt until it happens, right? Or, you know, things work out in a positive way, and then you're like, oh, good. Yeah. And maybe there's like a message too with that Queen of Cups in the reverse of just being mindful of like, if something triggers you, maybe kind of digging deeper into that and like, why is this seemingly really good thing triggering my fear here? Why am I afraid to open up to this person? Why am I why am I afraid of being emotional again, being romantic again? Also keeping in mind that you are probably a completely different person than you were in your past. So those past tricky people were people that hurt you. I think that you've grown and developed enough to the point where you're not going to be attracting the same types of people like you were in the past. And maybe that's like a message of reassurance for you. Because it's like you've grown way smarter. I feel like you probably have a good gauge of red flags at this point. So I would say trust that, and maybe like trust that you're going to be able to kind of tell the difference of somebody that's meant for you, somebody that's not meant for you. I want to see what's underneath this King of Wands. King of Cups. So, this could be just one person, or this could be multiple people. We did see the King of Pentacles earlier. So, maybe you're attracting a lot of people. Because the thing about the Kings is like, it's that masculine energy. And by masculine energy, I mean like this action-taking sort of energy. And so regardless of your gender and this person's gender, that typically indicates this is somebody that wants to come towards you, wants to take that action towards you. So maybe you have two different people coming towards you. One that's like very fiery, passionate, goal-driven, and maybe somebody that's maybe... Sometimes I see the King of Cups as somebody that's maybe slightly more subdued, but it's like, how do I say this? But they're not boring, and they're not, yeah, like they're not boring. It's not that they're boring. It's not that they are plain or ordinary, because they're still a king. But it's almost like somebody that recognizes their own power, but doesn't really feel the need to have to gloat about things, their goals or their achievements or whatever. You know, this I typically see the King of Cups as maybe somebody that's a little bit more subdued in their expressions sometimes. I do think this is somebody that definitely has deep feelings, somebody that feels very deeply, and maybe to an extent that's part of why they show up kind of more subdued, is like they've kind of learned to mask their feelings, mask those sensitive parts to themselves, not really show all of that on their sleeve or, you know, right out the gate. But with that Queen of Cups in the reverse, you know, then King of Cups here, maybe That could be a potentially good match here for you. But because we did have the King of Pentacles and now we have the King of Wands and the King of Cups, all the kings together creates the Emperor. So maybe you're attracting an Emperor. That's very possible. And again, regardless of gender, somebody that's just very powerful, knows their power, and is incredibly successful, very well respected in their field, in their community. Somebody that definitely has it going on, like somebody that's mature, somebody that's stable in their life, but also somebody that has a lot of responsibility too. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, and I think it can be a very attractive thing when somebody balances responsibilities very well and is responsible. That can be a very attractive quality in a person. So maybe this is a combination of all of these kings together creating the Emperor, and that could just be this is all one person, or maybe you're attracting multiple people. Because like as I was saying about like how the King of Cups sometimes speaks to me as a person that's a little bit more subdued. Like if you look at the expression on this King of Cups card, I don't know about you, but it almost looks like it's like this King of Cups is like observing and making like mental notes in their mind. Like it seems like they have something on their mind. Like even if they're completely silent, it's not like they're not noticing certain things, or that they're not yeah, like it's not that they're like inattentive or you know, completely removed from something. It's almost like they probably just keep things more so internal until they feel comfortable enough to, you know, open up the floodgates and be like, okay, I love you, you know, or whatever. I'm curious what's underneath that King of Cups. 8 of Swords. Ooh, so that kind of is interesting to me. I was gonna say, it's interesting to me in relation to the King of Cups, because I was saying how this could be somebody that keeps everything on the inside, and maybe this is somebody that overthinks. But on the other hand, because you did show up in this sort of energy with the Queen of Cups in the reverse and the Ace of Cups in the reverse, and that kind of hitting me as you being a little bit afraid of opening up, the 8 of Swords could definitely be like you feeling mentally imprisoned by maybe certain mindsets that have built up over time. Those past experiences playing a part in your hesitance when it comes to accepting other people into your life. But because I was getting that first message with the 8 of Swords in relation to the King of Cups, I think that maybe you and this King of Cups actually have way more in common than maybe you even realize. Because it almost is hitting me as like maybe this person's also afraid of opening up, just as afraid as you are. And maybe you're both overthinking the connection you feel with one another when this person comes into your life, or if they're already in your life. You could definitely be overthinking this situation. But the thing about the 8 of Swords is that you're not actually stuck. You can free yourself. You just have to realize that you have the ability to free yourself from that state of overthinking and feeling trapped within yourself. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I feel like if it's 2 people, these are both pretty good options. But yeah, you may just be a little bit triggered and maybe a little scared at first, but that's okay. Yeah, okay, let's go on to the Temperance card now. Clarify that, please and thank you, Spirit. What do you have for the Temperance card? Clarification for the Temperance card, please and thank you, Spirit. What are you bringing towards the Collective? With that Temperance card, please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else happening with that Temperance card? What's happening with that Temperance card? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you bringing towards the Collective with that Temperance card? Please and thank you. Anything else for the... Okay. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting cards for this one. Clarifying the Temperance card, the Page of Swords came out in the reverse, and that was followed by the Six of Swords in the reverse. So I feel like those are meant to be together. But then we have the Queen of Pentacles upright, Eight of Wands, the King of Wands came out, as well as the Three of Wands. Bottom of the deck, though, Five of Swords. So I'm gonna feel out this King of Wands and make sure that they're not in that Five of Swords energy, because that is not somebody that you would want a relationship with if they're in that Five of Swords energy. So, the Page of Swords upright is typically somebody that observes something. Sometimes, you know, it's seen as like the stalker card or whatever. Somebody that's keeping an eye on you, watching what you're doing. In the reverse, I almost feel like this could be a message of like somebody opening up about watching you, I guess. Like, not in a creepy way. I don't feel like it's like anything like that. It's just like, oh yeah, I saw your Instagram post the other day, or, you know, I saw you at the grocery store, but I didn't come up to you because I was a little busy or something. I don't know. You know, somebody that like has been seeing you around maybe, or somebody that's, you know, been sort of like, you know, checking you out from a distance perhaps. They could kind of open up about that and be like, you know, I've kind of had my eye on you for some time, not in a creepy way, but like, hey, like making themselves known in some way to you. But the Six of Swords in the reverse is an interesting card because upright, this is very positive. It's usually about, you know, coming out of a bad time and then going towards a calmer time ahead. Something that's more full of hope, opportunity. But in the reverse, okay. So I'll just say this message that I am getting. This could be somebody from your past potentially with that Six of Swords in the reverse, because I'm almost getting like, instead of moving towards a bad situation towards a good situation, they could be feeling like they moved from a good situation into a bad situation. And I feel like maybe the good situation that they were initially in could have been something to do with you. Or simply just having you in their life, because maybe they've been watching you online because they can't get near you in real life, or maybe they had to make like a burner account or something so that they could see what you're doing on social media or whatever. So that, I guess that is a possibility here. But it feels like maybe they felt like you were the good part of their life and somehow they messed it up so that they left that good time in their life and they just headed down maybe a dark path, or a path that was way more negative, way less fulfilling. And this could be stuff that they have been reflecting on and would like to open up to you about. And because this is all clarifying the Temperance card, I feel like this is very much your energy. You're being seen as a very powerful person, very powerful transmuter of energy. The bad things that happen to you do not keep you down for long. This is very much like a phoenix rising from the ashes, in my point of view. So you could be thriving while this person potentially is like a little bit sad. Because, especially if they see you doing really good, they could be like, damn, what did I mess, like, you know, I had this amazing person in my life, but I messed it up. And now I can't be a part of their celebrations of success. I can't be a part of their life, you know, going into this new chapter. Yeah, it's almost like they're kind of sad watching you, because it's like, maybe since you left this person behind, your life has only gotten better. And, you know, for them, it's the opposite. You know, it's like you left them behind and now everything has kind of turned to shit, from their perspective at least. Because again, these are the swords, and that could just be like maybe the way that they're thinking about this situation is like, my life has kind of gone downhill since we stopped speaking or interacting with one another. And the Queen of Pentacles, if you're in this Queen of Pentacles energy, that would make a lot of sense why this person feels that way, because you're probably having your own glow up. You're coming into this time of abundance. You're kind of just chilling amongst your abundance. You know, I feel like this also has a feeling of gratitude to it. So maybe you're just like very grateful for all these blessings that are coming into your life, these good things that are happening for you. But she is looking at the pentacle in her hand. So again, I think you're probably very much focused on your work or whatever brings about abundance or that feeling of fulfillment in your 3D. And then the 8 of Wands. This is usually a card of incoming communication. And since it was followed by this King of Wands, a lot of wands in this part, because also the 3 of Wands came out. Yeah, all these combined, I think this could definitely be somebody coming in to communicate something to you, and coming in to communicate something to you relatively quickly. Because the 8 of Wands is fast incoming communication. But it's usually like something that's very positive. Could be a passionate sort of energy with this message that they want to send. They see themselves as your equal. They probably see themselves as a little bit different than you, but not incompatible. Because if you're work focused, I don't think that is an issue when it comes to the King of Wands, because the King of Wands is very focused on taking action towards their goals. So I think that could even be something that you bond over potentially. That you both are very goal-oriented. And then that 3 of Wands, this is typically a card of like ships coming in, like now things are, you know, working out. Things that you've been wanting are coming in. And sometimes I get it as the card of like, the time is now. Now is the perfect time to do this, to act on this. And so I feel like this is this King of Wands wanting to reach out to you at this point because they feel like it's the best time to do it. And maybe the reason why they're kind of rushing into this communication is, you know, you're probably a very hot commodity at this time. I'm just saying, you know, I feel like you're not going to be in lack when it comes to potential suitors here. Honestly, you're probably going to be not in lack in a lot of ways in your life with this Queen of Pentacles energy. It's like the opposite of lack. And now I'm just curious if this King of Wands is the same person as this Page of Swords and what was it? 6 of Swords in the reverse. Because it could be possible that this King of Wands is somebody that you were in communication with at some point, and now they want to open back up to you after some time has passed. They've been watching you. I think it probably will depend on like each person's individual story that I'm connecting to. Yeah, because like this could be a new King of Wands, but it also could be somebody from your past coming back or trying to. And if that 5 of Swords at the bottom of the deck is any sort of, oh. As I picked up the deck, this one fell out. 5 of Wands, which is a card of competition. So maybe this King of Wands kind of wants to beat out the competition when it comes to you. Oh, yes. Because I think I was starting to say that with that 8 of Wands, them coming in quickly with this communication, they could feel like they need to do it as soon as possible because maybe somebody else will snatch you up. And so now they're coming in with, you know, they're bringing in the big guns. You know, they're ready to fight to impress you. to go up against whatever their competition is, whoever their competition is. But if this is somebody from your past that treated you in the way of Five of Swords, that is some toxic energy. Because I really do see the Five of Swords as like that bullying type of energy. But usually that translates to emotional, mental abuse, unfortunately. Somebody that just wants to win no matter what the cost. Like, they don't care if they're insulting somebody along the way. They don't care if they're offending anyone. They don't care if, you know, their loved ones have to suffer. It's like they just want to always be on top of everything, and they can't ever lose, and, you know, they're just willing to do whatever it takes to win in every single circumstance, almost. Or maybe it is all circumstances, depending on the person. I'm going to see what's underneath that Five of Swords. Ace of Wands. We had the Ace of Wands earlier that we clarified. So that kind of makes me think either this person is trying to manifest you, or they're seeing you manifest a lot of beauty. I don't know why I said beauty. I meant to say like a lot of beautiful things in your life. You're like manifesting a lot of wonderful things, and this person could be like, hey, I want a piece of that. Or maybe they're attracted to the fact that you're this powerful manifester. But if this is somebody from your past, it could be that this person's trying to manifest a new beginning with you. I'm going to see what's underneath that Ace of Wands. The Fool. And the Fool is usually a card of like loyalty, because there's that little white dog on there. And the white rose that the guy is holding like deals with purity. I sometimes see it as like pure intention. So it could be possible that this King of Wands does have pure intentions and wants to be loyal. But it also could be, this Fool card could also be you going into a new chapter of your life that is guided by spirit. And you're excited for this new beginning taking place. And maybe it's related to that Ace of Wands, you manifesting a new beginning for yourself. And maybe that new beginning has no place for people of the past that have treated you, you know, shitty. Which is totally valid, right? Like, obviously, you don't want to go back to that if that has been the case. But this King of Wands is incredibly attracted to you because of all these wands I'm getting. They're incredibly attracted to you. They're very passionate about you. They could also be very creative, and so maybe they even see your creativity and they relate to that. You know, I'm going to clarify, I think, the Page of Swords in the reverse and the Six of Swords in the reverse. I'm going to see who that is and see if that is maybe the same person or a different person from this King of Wands. Because I think that this Page of Swords, Six of Swords person in the reverse, I think that this is definitely somebody from your past. Yeah, let's see. Please and thank you, Spirit. Can we get a little clarification on this Page of Swords in the reverse? Who is this person? Who is this person from the collective's past? Is this the King of Wands? Please and thank you, Spirit. Is this the King of Wands? Please and thank you, Spirit. Could this be the King of Wands? Could this be that King of Wands energy? Ooh. King of Cups. Okay, so no, it is not the King of Wands. Okay, so that honestly would make more sense with that Five of Wands. They see, and by they I mean this King of Wands. Maybe even potentially this King of Cups too. They see that they have competition for your attention here, and so maybe both of them are ready to kind of come in and battle for your affections, I guess. Like, this is like the Middle Ages. Oh, bottom of the deck is the Knight of Cups. So somebody here definitely has some feelings for you that they want to express. And I feel like that's very obvious on the King of Wands part. But the King of Cups, so this is a King of Cups maybe from your past, with that Page of Swords in the reverse, like Six of Swords in the reverse. Oh, it's also possible that maybe technically this person may be from your past, but it's almost like maybe they didn't act when they should have in the past. They hesitated, and so they're regretting that. And with the Six of Swords in the reverse, maybe they had the opportunity to go towards a happier situation with you, but yet they may have denied their own feelings towards you, self-sabotaged in some way, and now they're in heavy regret about that. So this King of Cups may be an actual ex, or maybe just somebody that self-sabotaged, or I feel like, yeah, that maybe they didn't take the action that they needed to, or they didn't express themselves the way they should have. They didn't communicate effectively, potentially. I feel like they're really thinking a lot about you because of these swords cards. You're very heavily on their brain. And so I feel like they're going to want to come in, and so is this King of Wands going to want to come in. Maybe they're both showing up in this Knight of Cups energy because maybe they both have feelings for you that they'd like to express. It is very possible. I keep hearing like twigs snapping and stuff, like a little critters there, but I don't see any little critters. Anyways, I want someone underneath this Knight of Cups. The Wheel of Fortune. Hold up. Wheel of Fortune now. Somebody here has learned their lessons. Divine lessons. Divine lessons in divine timing. This could also be indicating that the time is right for them to come towards you, or they feel that way. They also could feel like Spirit is guiding them towards you, which is actually the theme of this message, right? Now I'm just curious, like, who could this be? This Knight of Cups. I guess, you know, it could be possible that both of these people kind of try to come in at around the same time, and maybe they both feel like they're being drawn to you, like Spirit's drawing them towards you. I want to see what's underneath that Wheel of Fortune. Ace of Pentacles, so new beginning, a start in new building stability. I want to see what's underneath that. I'm so nosy. King of Swords. Okay, so now we have another king? You are going to have it going on. It may be a little overwhelming, I'm not going to lie. If this is 3 different people... Yeah, I'm just going to say it. You're probably coming into a time of good luck when it comes to love. Yeah, I feel like that's the message. Is like you're going to be coming into a time of really good luck. And this good luck is balancing out the bad luck you may have had in the past with love. It's like now it's your time to shine when it comes to romantic situations. And I think, you know, ultimately it's going to be up to you who you choose or who fits best into your life and maybe your future life and what that looks like. And so maybe the best way to do that is just kind of feel them out for a little bit, you know? Have conversations with them. You know, hang out with them, see how they interact with other people, you know, like kind of gauge those types of things through talking to them as well as interacting with them in general. And now I'm curious what's underneath that King of Swords. Six of Pentacles. So yeah, I really do feel like you have 3 different people that are wanting to give to you in some way. They want to share what they have with you. There's that scales balancing. So I do feel like the scales are balancing out for you in terms of the universe, in terms of karma. I feel like you probably have been sort of building up your karma in a positive way for some time now. And so it's like, get ready for that to pay off. Ooh. And maybe this temperance card that this is all clarifying, maybe this is an indicator to take things slowly, be patient. Do not rush into any connection with any of these people because you still need to kind of gauge their intentions and stuff. But I really do feel like you have your pick of them in this new chapter here. And I would also just be aware that maybe these people see you as a healer, and maybe some of these people are not quite all the way healed, and maybe they kind of want you to do the healing for them. Or they kind of, and this doesn't even have to be a conscious thing, it could be a subconscious thing where they're just like thinking that you can heal them for them so that they don't have to do that work. So I think that's probably very important for you to kind of like take your time with these people. Truly feel them out before you jump into anything serious. But I think you're probably going to do that anyways, because I feel like you're a very intelligent person, as well as somebody that's kind of, you know, you've been around the block a time or two, so you kind of know the types of people that are going to waste your time, or the types of personalities of people that would waste your time compared to the people that are actually going to be a good fit for you. I don't think anybody's going to be able to pull the wool over your eyes. I feel like you are very much very aware. And you're probably really good at reading energies as well. All right. Let's move on to the bottom of the deck here. That Two of Wands, I do think that you've been making some plans, and they're leading you in a certain direction. And because it is the Wands, it definitely could be your creative passions, creative projects, your, you know, whatever you feel passionate about, what fuels your fire. Okay, let's see what's underneath that Two of Wands. Two of Cups. That's beautiful. Also 2-2. Maybe 2-2-2 is a sign for you. I did see 2-2-2 early on the clock, so maybe you've been seeing 2-2-2 on the clock. It's almost like through you building your own plans for your future and acting on those plans, not only are you coming into your own success, but you're also coming into an alignment with the person that's meant for you. I feel like you're going to be attracting your counterpart. Now let's see what's underneath that Two of Cups. The Hermit. You know, maybe it's like, you know, maybe if all of these people come in towards you and start to express themselves towards you, maybe that like feeling of like, oh, I guess I gotta choose between these people of like who I want this connection with. Maybe it calls for you to kind of take a step back and do that internal reflection, you know, trusting your intuition, asking spirit for guidance potentially. Because it definitely could be very overwhelming, and taking that step back could be vital for you in order to make the best decision possible, and also to see the situation as clearly as possible as well. Honestly, this is a really good reading. This is very exciting. And again, I keep getting this message of like, you know what red flags to look out for. And I don't think that people can fool you like maybe they once could have, or thought they could have, or could. Yeah. Okay, I think we are gonna dive right into the Oracle and see if there's any extra messages here. Please and thank you, Spirit. What are you bringing towards the collective? Or is there any other messages for the collective? Please and thank you, Spirit. Any other messages for the collective regarding this reading? Please and thank you. Whoop. Maybe. Oh. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Ooh. Okay. The first card that came out is the Antelope and Wheat. This represents nourishment. I feel like that's kind of what you've been doing, is really nourishing yourself, focusing on yourself. I've also never noticed that the wheat in the background is like forming a circle, and earlier we saw that wreath on the Six of Wands, and I was thinking how that was speaking to me of like cycles completing. I feel like through you, taking care of yourself truly, focusing on yourself and doing what's best for you, it's completing a cycle of maybe, it feels like it's ending that cycle of maybe not feeding yourself or not nourishing yourself enough, or maybe even having like bad self-esteem or something, or bad self-love, lacking self-love maybe. But that cycle is completing, and you're opening a new cycle in which you are loving yourself and maybe prioritizing yourself as well. Because like at the end of the day, this is your life, right? And so it's important for you to make the best decision possible for yourself, because you matter. And then the porcupine and anemone, this represents boundaries. So you're really good with boundary setting, and I feel like as long as you lean into that in this situation, that's going to pay off for you. Establishing those boundaries, being very clear about your, where your boundaries lie. If anybody's trying to rush you into anything, definitely lay down those boundaries, because it's like, no, I'm not going to be rushing into anything until I get a clear look at this person or people. Because again, it's all about protecting yourself, because you deserve to protect your beautiful heart, the things about you that are so special and beautiful. And not everybody's deserving of those beautiful parts of yourself, right? And then the squirrel and chestnut came out, and this is representing preparation. So maybe there's even a message here about preparing yourself for good things to come in as a result of you taking really good care of yourself, prioritizing yourself, and not being afraid to establish boundaries with others. Yeah. So maybe just like making that mental note of like, good things are coming in for me, and so maybe I should prepare for that. Or maybe you have been preparing for this, and maybe that's a sign that you're ready even for this new thing to take place, or these people to come in towards you, these blessings to come in for you. And then bottom of the deck is the vulture and asphodel, and this represents upheaval. And this I typically see as like that tower card sort of energy. I do think it's going to be some sort of upheaval, but I do not think that this is a bad sort of upheaval. I think you're probably just used to things kind of being a little bit bleh, a little stagnant, a little bit unexciting, and then all of a sudden things are going to get really exciting for you. That's what I see here. I think that you're going to be coming into a time where you're going to be feeling very grateful and very blessed. So trust in that for sure. That is the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this. And if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings, you can click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you when I next upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.